welcome to Gulfstream Park, Sunday, December 7th. Christina Bossanakis here, joined by Ron Nicoletti. And such a great weekend here at Gulfstream. Claiming Crown yesterday kicked off not only the weekend, but it also kicked off the meet. What a tremendous day.
It was a beautiful day. The weather was perfect. It was crowded as can be. Lots of great races and, just a fun day. And what way to end the day with the Jewel. That was pretty much fun.
Yeah, it was. We'll take a quick look back at yesterday's Jewel. And Ron, a very familiar face here at Gulfstream Park. The trainer of number 4 Catholic Cowboy, Nick Zito, won this race, and what a performance from this horse.
Yeah, this horse was just flying at the end, and he was just game as can be, and he held on. It looked like they might catch him. There was horses flying at the end. The 5 horse who was the favorite in there, and the 12 horse, the 4 holds on. And as Nick Zito says, he had the winner. We always like to make try and do Nick Zito imitations, but congratulations. That's 2 years in a row with him winning the Jewel, $200,000. We also want to remind everybody that we got the Rainbow Six today, which starts in race number 5, and there it is. You see races 5 through 10 with an over $10,000 jackpot guarantee, or a carryover, excuse me, it's not a guarantee. It is in there, so that starts in race number 5. Fast main track, firm turf course. Lots of fun today.
Yeah, it really is, and again, a big opening day. Over $10 million in a handle, so, and over, it was 36%, it was up the handle from last year.
On track, yeah.
On track, yeah.
It was crowded. It was a lot of fun.
Yep, yeah, a lot of action here, and so we have a loaded 10 race card here for Sunday. Ron, we'll get right into it, and we'll start with the first race on the card, which is a starter optional claiming event, 6 furlongs on the main track. And my top selection, I went with number 8, Capriccio Blue, and Capriccio Blue was going to be running, actually was initially slated to run on Claiming Crown Day. However, this filly has been reserved for this, she's been held over for this spot. Paco Lopez gets aboard. I think she'll be forwardly placed. I don't think she'll be up front early, probably forwardly placed, but she really does like the track here.
Yeah, she likes the track here. She's run very well. I went with the number 2, Yacht Star, and this one is dropping it to a proper level. You see its last race, her 2-race win streak ended when she set the pace. She weakened to finish 4th, but that was against $30,000 claimers, and I just think Rohan Creton, the trainer here, Luis Saez, spots this daughter of Limehouse perfectly today, and got Capriccio Blue on the ticket, as you mentioned. Both her previous races at this distance that she won, she just sat right off the pace. So those 2 wins from 4 starts, and I think you're right, she likes this track and going to sit a good trip.
Yeah, and I also threw number 7 in there, and that's Desirable Lady. Not really getting much love here right now, but it's going to be interesting to maybe one for the exotics. I'm definitely going to want to look at her in the paddock before the race. Race 2, which kicks off the early pick 4. It is a 5 furlong turf event. It is a 20,000 claiming test. And Ron, my early selections, I went with number 7, and that was Drunken Love. And then I looked at the race again today, and I'm thinking, I don't know why. You know what? Well, I do know why. He's a tough, gritty old horse. He does have a lot of speed, and that's one direction that I went in. Also, Jamie Ness from the Northeast, very familiar with him. He usually places his horses in spots that they can win. Luis Saez, he gets aboard. So, it seems on paper stepping up in class. However, I think that he's gonna have a tough task because there are a couple of nice horses in here.
Yeah, I want to show you a video, and this is from back on November 20th, and it's a horse I put on top, and it's the stretch run of Full Moon's back, surrendering a 2-length lead. He finishes 4th. You'll see him in here. I just thought he was going to, run good in here, and I just liked the way he was running in this race, and just got tired at the end. And I think that this performance here made me go. He was on the also eligible list yesterday for the Claimant Crown in the Canterbury Stakes, going 5 furlongs, and it's a 2-time local winner. He was beating the nose in the Gin Rummy Chant. That was a $90,000 race back on October 25th. Now he's in the claiming ranks. He dueled for the lead, as you saw. He weakened to finish 4th, but he was only beaten 1.5 lengths in there. That was against $25,000 option claimers. I think this is an ideal spot for the number 8 Full Moon's back. Also used the 3 Morning Brew and a Drunken Love on the ticket, and I sort of know why. A 12-time winner at the distance. That's why.
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
Thought, boy, oh boy.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And also Mishmash. I threw Mishmash into the mix in race number 2. Moving on to the third race on the card is 62.5, a claiming event. It is 6 furlongs on the main track. And my top selection in there, I went with number 2. House on Toilsome, trained by Jason Service and Gabriel Saez. Gabriel Saez and Jason Service, they are lethal wherever they go. Up at Monmouth, they're particularly effective. But Jason Service, he's always a trainer that you have to watch. The only thing is, I do have this horse on top, and I do think she's going to be the mare to beat. However, she doesn't particularly want to win all the time.
Yeah, so I did put her on top, too. And by the way, there's a scratch in here of the number 5, Ginebra. I did put House on Toilsome on top, dropping into the claiming ranks. And I think that might be the key, to dropping, return from the layoff, finish 4th. It was against state-bred allowance competition. You mentioned Jason Service does a fantastic job. And Gabriel Saez, besides being a really good rider, really nice guy, we have a lot of fun with him over across town at Gulfstream Park West. I also used the 12 in here, Maylee's Hope, who is one on the past one, returning from a lengthy layoff, which it's doing today. Drops to the $6,250 level, adds blinkers. First race since encountering trouble at the start and failing to get on track. That was against $25,000 optional claimers. Was right here on April 27th, so a long layoff. Your buddy is the trainer in here that we had a lot of fun with last year. Giuseppe Iacidernia, Luca Panici in the saddle, so we got an Italian connection going there.
We sure do, and I also had on my you mentioned hot stepping last, but I also had number 9 on this Key Home, and I thought that she's going to be forwardly placed, and she'll probably be pressing the pace as well.
Yeah, and you're right about the number 2, House on Toilsome. I mean, it's not something you're going to single in any of your wagers or anything like that. And this is second leg of the early pick 4 today. So, I think you have to go a little deep. In the first 2 races that we mentioned in the pick 4 sequence, I think you might have to go a little deep. There's no jump out in there. Now the 4th race.
On to the 4th race. It is a 20,000 claiming event, a mile and a 16th on the turf course. Scratch the also eligibles. And Ron, this is a pretty competitive heat, I thought. I went with number 9, Wine Burglar. I know that you like this filly as well from the Marcus Vitale barn. Again, Marcus Vitale, Orlando Boca Chica, very effective duo. But she's making her first start for Marcus Vitale.
Yeah, and she's in, as you mentioned, in the Marcus Vitale barn. She drops to a proper level today. If you look at its last race, she skipped a condition. She finished 6th. She was beaten 4.5 lengths, but that was against $20,000 non-winners of 3 live competition. This is non-winners of 2. So, and that was on the Aqueduct turf. Orlando Boca Chica, you mentioned this is a daughter of Rock Hard 10. So I think this is the proper level, for the number 9, Wine Burglar. Who else did you use?
I also used number 3, Secret Fascination, and Antonio Sano trains this one. She was second last time, and she just got a little leg weary in the late stages last time out. I think that she's going to be better off for that effort here today. And I still think she fits in this level, Ron. I included her. I also threw in there number 10, Charanga, and getting blinkers off. Paco Lopez gets aboard for Joe Cantonese.
Yeah, and I also used the inside horse in here, and that's Chica Chapina, and this one who broke her maiden in her first start going long on the turf. Was game in defeat. She rallied 4 wide to come within a neck of defeating $8,000 2 lifetime claimants. I don't see a big jump up in competition here with this horse. That was going a mile in the 16th. It was across town on the Gulfstream Park West grass course. It's a lightly raced 4-year-old. Diego Gomez, you might not know a lot about him, but he's a pretty good rider, and I wouldn't throw him out because he's not one of the top name riders. He can ride, and this is the horse's 2nd consecutive start from the rail, 4th race.
We're going to take a short break, and we'll come back and have a look at the 5th race on the card, which kicks off the Rainbow 6, and there is a carryover over $10,000.
Gulfstream Park is one of Florida's top entertainment destinations, mixing restaurants, clubs, a casino, and international boutique shops with world-class racing. In a lavish, sun-drenched setting with the feel of a Mediterranean village, Gulfstream is a leading year-round entertainment and tourist destination and the home of luxury residences in 2014. The Stronach family, owners of Gulfstream Park, is committed to the sport of thoroughbred racing and the grace, spirit, and generosity of the horse.
The Rainbow 6 is back and it's better than ever. Now with a 20-cent base wager, it will expand the market for the popular bet. And in addition to doubling the base wager, the percentage return for the winners On the day the jackpot isn't hit increases to 70%, with 30% going to the carryover pool for the next program. Gulfstream Park, first post, 12:35 p.m. each and every day.
Welcome back to Gulfstream Park. We're going to have a look at the 5th race on the card, which kicks off the 20-cent Rainbow
They almost
6.
hit it yesterday.
They did, right?
They were right close by. We had about 3 horses left, and one of them was the 12 horse who was flying at the end. And if he would have won it, they would. I think it was like $36,000 would have been the whole pool. Of course, we give 70% back, so that's why the carryover today is $10,800. So it's a great bet, lots of fun.
Yeah, it is. And then that kicks off in the 5th race on the card, which is a 12-5 maiden claiming event, 6 furlongs on the main track. We have a couple scratches, the also eligibles, and Ron, I went with number 4, Yes Blue, and this is a 2-year-old filly by Yes It's True. Favored last time. I thought it was a credible effort. She showed some speed early. She just got a little bit tired late, and I think this time I'm hoping she'll be able to carry it a little bit longer. But they were going pretty quick in that opening quarter last time at Gulfstream Park West.
Yeah, I want to show you a video of the horse that I picked in second, and that's the 12 Pam Pam, and that's a race from back on November 21st. This horse turning for home and ran pretty good. It looked like he was going to win. He made this move to be second, and all of a sudden just flattened out. You'll see it right now. And I'm going, oh, this is the winner from Pam Pam, and it just didn't happen that way. Made this nice move up here, and then, as I mentioned, you'll see it turning for home, sort of flattens out and runs okay. That was back, as I mentioned, on November 15th. Now drops. She made that middle move. That was last time out. Flattened out, finished 4th, but it was against $25,000 times. It was going on a sloppy track, and I just thought that performance was good enough to maybe put this horse in this spot. But I'm like you. I like the 4, Yes Blue, on top of my ticket. There you see she finishes 4th in that race.
Yeah, she did. I think you're right, and I thought that that was a pretty good first outing.
Exactly.
So I think, or I should say, it wasn't her first outing, but I'm saying it was a good effort. It was a good effort for her last time. And as I said, Yes I'm Blue. Edgar Zayas gets aboard, and the barn is a pretty good second off a layoff, and his number's pretty good. Gustavo Delgado, he's been doing really well here in southern Florida, and I just thought that was going to be the way to go. I also used Pam Pam. I used the number 5 Starship Virtue, and this is a 2-year-old filly by DeWildcat. I'm really fond of DeWildcat, especially with his early horses. He is a Florida-based stallion. They tend to be very precocious, and this filly, she's getting a break in class as well.
Yeah, I threw in the 8 Cherries winner, a first-time starter from Rohan Cretan, and this one is a 2 for 3. The barn is with 67%, very limited sampling with debut maiden claimers. Got Lasix and got apprentice jockey Tyler Gaffleone, and if you did not watch the races for over at Gulfstream Park West, this apprentice is a good rider. He's going to be moving up pretty soon. So a first-time starter, lots of questions in this race. You might want to add that horse somewhere to your ticket. The barn, like I say, a limited sampling with first-time maiden claimers, but 2 for 3. So we'll see how that works out.
I think for the Rainbow 6, because we did say that race kicks out the Rainbow 6, I think we're going to have to use a few in this one.
Oh, you got to go. Yeah, this is not one of the singles. We got a single a little later on that we'll talk about in a treatise. But right now, you got to go deep there, and our 6th race too. The same thing with the pick 5 when it kicks off in the 6th race.
Yeah, it does kick off in the 6th, which is a 1.16 event on the turf. It is a 20,000 claiming event, and we do have the scratches of the also eligibles. And my top selection, I went with number 11, Open Outcry. And I just thought this 8-year-old gelding, well, I mean, it's very obvious why I've chosen him. He's just a win machine, and of late he's done very little wrong. Hasn't raced since October 17th, and that was at the Meadowlands. But, Ron, you really can't fault this gelding. He just shows up.
Yeah, I mean, he's a winner of 5 consecutive turf races. He's a 6-time winner at the distance. He makes his first start since defeating those $20,000 optional claimers at the Meadowlands, as you said. Patricia Farrow is the trainer, and Paco Lopez is aboard for 3 of those 5 victories. But I went another way. I went with the 3 fan base, stretching out to its most accomplished distance. 11 races at this distance, 5 victories, 2 seconds, posting his 3rd consecutive turf victory when leading every step of the way to defeat $20,000 optional claimers going a mile. It's Marcus Vitale, Orlando Boca Chica. you know, this horse will be on the engine over there. And Orlando Boca Chica, very aggressive rider, will have this horse somewhere open. But how could you not have these two horses on both your Rainbow Six and your Pick 5 ticket?
Right. I also threw in number 2 in there, 9 in the 9 for Jimmy Caceres, and Jose Valdivia gets aboard. And Jose Valdivia also, he's a very good jockey on it. He can ride very well on the turf, so he does a really good job. And also, I think one for the exotics. I think a little bit more, not necessarily for the win, but I thought I would throw that one in.
Well, there's a name that we mentioned an awful lot yesterday, and that was trainer Mike Maker, and he's the trainer of the 12 Air Squadron. This one is free falling through the $20,000 level after winning 2 of 7 races this year against optional claiming allowance competition. Trainer Mike Maker, as I mentioned, had 3 wins yesterday. Julian Leparoux will be handling that outside post today. So I'm throwing him on a ticket. I learned my lesson yesterday. So when I put my tickets there, I'm going to have Mike Maker on my ticket.
Yeah, I think it was 14 wins. I believe it was 14 wins for the claiming crown. That's a record for Mike Maker yesterday, because he went into yesterday's card with 12, and he had a couple on claiming crown days. So that was very impressive. Congratulations to Mike Maker. That was a big, big day for those connections. That race kicks off the Pick 5. As Ron and I just said, we think we're probably going to have to use a couple in there, spread a little bit. A race that I'm pretty eager to get to later on today is race 7, and that is, it's a maiden special weight. It is 7 furlongs on the main track, and it is for babies. It's for two-year-old colts. And again, it seems to be pretty competitive, although we do have one scratch, and that's number 8, Express Jet. And that kicks off the late Pick 4. And my top selection, number 9, Old Mountain Lane, trained by Mr. Todd Fletcher. And this colt, he's a half to a very useful stakes winner, at stakes horse at 6 to 8 furlongs. He cost $520,000 as a 2-year-old at the 2-year-old in training sale. But Ron, Warfront is the sire. He's becoming a tremendous international stallion. You think $520,000 is a lot of money? The top price for a 2-year-old in this year for Warfront was $2 million.
Wow.
So,
yikes.
And his average, his 2-year-old average $420,000. So, I mean, this is a nice horse, but the stallion's he's hot.
Yeah, and I know you wanted to show a race of his.
I do. And last time he was 3rd with Julian Leparoux aboard. And Ron, this is the horse to beat. Look at the horse who won last time, and that was Sky Hero. Sky Hero, he came back, stakes caliber horse, very talented animal. I think this is exactly a very useful professional debut. Todd Fletcher, he usually has them ready to run first time out. Todd Fletcher does have 2 in here. He also has number 6, and that's, excuse me, not number 6, number 7. It's a knockout, but I think this is the one to beat.
Yeah, now, let me ask you this question. Is this one of your singles in your Rainbow Six ticket when you're putting it together?
If I had to single, if I had to single, if I needed to single in a couple of races, might be the one. Well, I also think, by the way, I also do think the other Todd Fletcher horse is a nice colt. It's a knockout, $350,000 for a Lemon Drop Kid. I also think, but the thing is, we have the one horse has the advantage of having had a start and has a little more experience versus one that doesn't.
Well, I have both those horses on my ticket, but I also use the 3. The Sun Wind is making his 2nd start after finishing 2nd to a very impressive winner called Rockin' In at 10, and that it was a 7-furlong maiden test. It was over at Gulfstream Park West. Trainer Antonio Sano, Edgar Zayas. That Rockin' In at 10 is a nice horse, so keen off that. You know, 9, Old Mountain Lane looks like the one to beat, and of course the other Fletcher, but maybe you want to put the number 3, the Sun Wind, on your ticket.
I do want to make one point. You did mention the other horse, because I also have the other Fletcher horse on my ticket as well. It's a knockout, and it was the 3rd top price yearling by that stallion Lemon Drop Kid in 2013. He was $350,000, and again, seeing how all this is relative, right? We were talking about Warfront. $500,000 is really not a lot for a Warfront. $350,000, that's a good price for a Lemon Drop Kid, and also the Connection Starlight Racing. They don't always go to over $300,000 to go for a horse.
So they must have liked him.
Yeah, so they must have liked him. So he seems to be a nice sort and one to watch in that race. On to the 8th race on today's card. It is a 1.16 mile event on the turf course, and it is an allowance race. We do have scratches from the also eligible list, 13, 14, and 16. Ron, What did you do?
I went with the number 12 in here, and it's Clapham Heights is stepping up, stretching out after using his speed to defeat the $40,000 optional claimers going a mile on the Woodbine turf. He's a 3-time turf winner, 6 starts, 3 wins, a second and a third, and I think he's got that tactical speed needed to clear from his outside post position. So number 12, Clapham Heights on the top of my ticket. I also used the 11, I Got ID, and the 6 Sportsman. This is a wide open race.
I was just going to say, just based on your selections, I feel like we both have Bossman, but it just shows how different in different directions that you can go. And I went with number 7, actually. That's Personal Delivery. Corey Lannery gets aboard, leading jockey at Churchill Downs in Kentucky. He just set the track on fire in this race. We were just getting a no. We also had a scratch of the 15 in this race.
Four out of those now.
Yeah. So back to Personal Delivery. Victor won last time out. Actually, he's very keen. He likes to visit the winner's circle. He won 5 out of 6 starts so far this season. Cal Lynch, for many of you, if you're not familiar with him down here in Florida, just a really, really talented trainer, a very good horseman up at Parks in the Northeast. He's always a guy that I'm always paying attention to when he's got something in there. And I think, again, you spoke of tactical speed. This horse has tactical speed.
I mean, that is one where you go a little deeper, of course. Now when we get to the feature event of the afternoon, you might have a single in here, right?
Oh, yeah. In the 9th race, we do have the Aventura handicap. It is a mile on the main track, and we do have 1 scratch, and that's number 8, Montana Cowboy. And Ron, I went with the obvious horse. I think on class, this horse is the one to beat, and that's Artrides. Marty Wolfson trains this one. Now, 6th last time in the Indiana Derby. That's a Grade 2 race. They shipped to Indiana for that race October 4th, but I think we could throw that race out. Yeah,
he was, stuck behind a wall of horses in there, and he had some trouble in starting at a little bit of a rough trip. Throw that one out. I know you wanted to show the video of his victory back on, I think it was August, right? August
we went back to the August 30th, and that was the Monarcos here at Gulfstream Park, and just a very impressive race. And he won. Ron, he just blew them away. 17.5 lengths. It probably could, and mind you, Edgar Zayas is asking him a little bit late, but there's no question here.
And there's 3 races until he got defeated last time, all triple-digit buyer figures, and there you see him just cruising under the wire. Just a couple of minutes left, so I guess we'll go to the 10th. We singling that one in there?
In the 10th? No, I'm not going to single him.
No, I meant we're going to single Atreides.
Oh, yeah, we're going to single Atreides. Yes, we sure are. And I think that was the one I was saying I would single. Old Mountain Lane, I think
I'm singling too, just so you know.
Yeah. Okay, I'm with you on that. And in the final race on the card, the 10th race, there's Super High 5 wagering in there. There is a carryover to Super High 5 as well.
Yeah, there's over $4,000, I believe, in there. And they just had 2 of the 5 yesterday, so it's a bet that you can do pretty well with it. If you can hit it, it's a $1 wager. You got to pick those first 5 finishers.
And it is a 7.5 furlong event on the turf, a 35,000 maiden claiming race. There's a few scratches in there, 12, 13, 15, and 16. From the also eligibles. I went with number 4, Zarliza, and she's getting a significant class break here. Blinkers off this time. Paco Lopez gets aboard. Now, making her first start for Steve Dwoskin, previously with Linda Rice. But I think this filly, if Paco's aboard, I have a feeling might be showing a little bit more speed.
Yeah, I went with the 6, Daniel Rivers, stepping up a notch after rallying to finish well-meant second against $25,000 types. Also used Classy Klepper in my ticket. Those are the couple of the races sandwiched between the 9th race with the treaties, where you have to go deep in the 8th and the 10th. So should be a fun day of racing.
That last race, Ron, you were just talking about, I think why I was saying I would want to use a couple of, I would probably I'd be spreading a little bit in that particular race. Undercover Kitten is a 2-year-old filly by Kitten's Joy, and we know how the Kitten's Joys.
Oh, they're great.
Not only are they they're very good on the turf, and that's the obvious answer, but they're also very good first time out, very precocious. So I also used Undercover Kitten in there. I also had number 9, Cooper's Keeper, and she was on my ticket as well. She's getting a class break. So Ron, very competitive card today.
Yeah, it's going to be see if they can bring down that Rainbow Six thing. I think it's going to be a tough task, but you do have one signal, so maybe if a treaties runs like we think it is run, it's actually going to be a Rainbow 5.
And that does start in the 5th race on the card. It is the Rainbow Six. There is that carryover over $10,000. Ron Nicoletti and I will be back the rest of the afternoon. Folks, please stick around.